It's nice to see you too. And why don't you take it from here? This is your agenda item.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Adams, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students. And I echo the chair, appreciate you hopping on for a emergency meeting to talk about these Title IX regulations. So I have two colleagues with me that I think that they're both here. I want to make sure you know they're on the call, and they are really the experts on this matter, and a couple of times I'm going to flip over to them so you can hear it.
Sure.
For some important information for them. I have Brittany Morowick, who is our Associate Dean of Students and has been serving as our interim conduct officer since last November. So Brittany can give a wave there. And then we have Kathy Artigiani, who is our Title IX coordinator and the lead on helping SUNY Poly sort through our obligations under Title IX. So the first thing I want to do is I do want to shift this over to Kathy, who can help explain the complexities of where we are with these Title IX regulations and why. What we're asking you to do is to review what we've put together to comply with Title IX regulations and let us know if you're comfortable with what we've put together and endorse us moving forward if we are so directed. Because right now we are on hold to implement the changes we're asking you to take a look at. So I'm going to flip it over to Kathy for a quick tutorial on why Title IX is so darn confusing right now.
Thanks, Jen, and thanks everybody. Hi, Judge Jeruzzi. I couldn't not single you out for my previous world. It's great to see you.
You as well.
So, the 2024 federal Title IX regulations were supposed to come out in October of 2023. Then they were supposed to come out in January. Then they were coming out in March, and then in April they said, don't worry, they're not coming out before the election. And 2 weeks later they said, here are the new regulations with the implementation date of August 1st of 2024. So we have all been rushing, waiting on General Counsel to send us their best practice templates, guidelines, and such. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Peter Harrington to let us know part of the state of Kansas injunction, stopping the implementation of these rules. Through that, there's 3 agencies or groups that are part of that. They had to turn over their membership list to the courts. Through that, they identified 7 SUNY schools that have a student and or family member that are a member of one or more of those 3 groups. Therefore, we are under injunction, so we will not be implementing on 8/1. But at any point that can be overturned. It could literally be a split second to say, nope, this actually is not happening, and we will have to institute the new rule immediately. So 2 weeks ago, I was told, take a breath. We don't have the 8/1. And a week later, on Thursday, I was told, where's your policy that's due on 8/1? So that's why we're scrambling at this moment. But Brittany and I and Jen and Chief Bean have worked for the last 4 days consecutive, pretty much. Through this new policy, there are some business decisions, as General Counsel refers to them. They gave us best practice so that we're in compliance with both New York State 129B as well as the federal guidelines, because we have to do both. But they did leave a few options that are left up to each institution that works best for the individual institution. So those are the things we spoke about this morning at Cabinet. Through this, because of the changes in the new regulations, it will also make some slight changes to the Code of Conduct. They are splitting into 2 grievance policies because they're splitting up what's covered under Title IX. So there'll be sex-based sex discrimination and non-sex-based sex discrimination. They will each have 2 different grievance policies. So we have to reflect that in the code, which covers everything right now, and now it will be separated out. So sanctions and such will just be clarified and reworded slightly.
Okay.
Thanks, Kathy.
You bet.
To give you all some context of the relationship between Brittany or whoever our full-time conduct officer becomes and Kathy, when we receive a report, it is determined at the beginning whether or not we feel this is going to fall under Title IX, this incident, or it's going to fall under the general student code of conduct. And you as a college council have purview over our student code of conduct and should be approving any substantive changes that are happening within that student code. When we decide that an incident is covered under Title IX, Kathy will do the investigation. And the investigative process for Title IX is really what we're having you consider today and endorse. At the end of Kathy's investigation, her reports and findings are turned over to the student conduct officer, who in the interim has been Brittany, and we're on a search for a full-time one. That person then proceeds to issue charges that the student responds to under the student code of conduct. So most of what we're talking about today is Kathy's investigative process, how these different items are investigated. And she mentioned that some of these decisions within the Title IX regulations were administrative, operational things for campuses to decide. What we want you to know is that we kept, in every way we could, the same processes we've always followed that are in the student code in place. So if we had an A and a B, and A is what we already follow, we stuck with A, especially because in most cases, our A gave the students the most broad rights under the process. So almost everything that operationally was within here, we already had in place, and we're suggesting keeping them. There were 3 things that we felt we should highlight for you that were either more expansive than happened under Title IX regulations before, or were just an opportunity we didn't have. And I'll flip it back to Kathy. I think she gave a cheat sheet on what those 3 things were that we felt you should know. We made some determinations on.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I think we ended up with 4. One is the jurisdiction, so where we can investigate a case and where we cannot. It gave us 2 options. The second option was very clunky. It was very wordy. It was very confusing. It was confusing to most of us, so we felt it would be very confusing to a student, especially going through something like this. So the very short wordage we used is basically if they have an incident or an experience on campus, off campus, or studying abroad, we will do our due diligence to investigate and or refer the student to the appropriate resources. Whereas now the current regs, it has to happen on campus or in one of our school-owned properties in order for us to investigate. So it is a wider scope under these new regulations. So that was one of the decisions we made to make it a little bit more clear and concise that pretty much anywhere, anytime, if they are our student, we will be supporting them through the investigation or other resources.
Okay.
Our second point was employee notification. So currently, faculty is required as mandated reporters to report any incidents. The new wordage allows us to create that across all employees. So if they are made aware, either directly or indirectly, of any potential situations that could reach the height of Title IX, they are required to report that information directly to myself. Versus interceding with a student. It could be a facilities cleaner overhearing something along those lines. So just making that broader scope where we're requiring all of our employees to report anything that they feel might fall under Title IX.
Great. Okay. So Jen, is there any other?
Yeah, we just have two more allegations falling under.
Let me just ask, Kathy, does anyone on the College Council have any questions or discussion on that one piece? Because then we can
quickly,
go
Ryan.
ahead, Keith.
So,
Yep.
Kathy, when you say they report to you, are there multiple avenues to do that, or is it just one form? Can you explain that?
Sure. They can come to me directly in person. They can email me the information. Also online on the webpage, there is a form. So if somebody doesn't want to report it with their contact information, they can report it anonymously. Okay, with giving as much information as possible, but without disclosing their own identity.
Great. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay. Anyone else? Next.
So allegations falling under two policies. So this would be a situation where there's a Title IX situation and some other conduct behavior. So it could be damaging property, things along those through what is alleged as a Title IX incident as well. So currently we use the policy where it's all treated under one case. Versus them doing the conduct piece and then the Title IX piece. We would like to remain with that policy, mainly because it eliminates the student having to repeat the story in what occurred more than necessary, which is a huge piece of the Title IX regulations, is try to alleviate the student having to relive the experience more than necessary. So we would like to continue keeping it all into one process versus doing them separately.
Okay. Any questions or concerns or comments? Okay.
And the last one that we have is regarding appeals. So when I put interim measures in place during the investigatory process, the students have the right to appeal my decision. So if I put a cease and desist order in place or a no contact order, they can appeal that. Currently, under the current regulations, that would go to VP Adams. For that, per 129B in New York State, we now have to have a panel that hears those appeals instead of a single individual. So we have identified the Vice President of Student Affairs or designee, the Vice President for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging or designee, the Vice President for Finance and Administration or designee, as well as an alternate in case one of them have a conflict or a reason that they can't be part of that board would be the Vice President for Institutional Advancement or designee.
Okay. Any comments? Any questions? Any concerns? Okay. How would you like to conduct this vote? Do you want it with 3 different, or can we just take it as a whole? Jen?
I think you could take it as a whole for a vote. I do want to highlight there is one piece of reorganization within the student code. So this isn't a substantive change to the student code. It doesn't change students' rights and responsibilities. But Kathy and Brittany are recommending that should these regulations be implemented, they're not very well aligned with how charges are issued within the student code. So if you remember, I said Kathy does the investigation, it goes to student conduct, and they issue charges. The charges are not organizationally very clear to students or us if these regulations go into effect. So I do want to let you know, because it's really important you're aware of what's happening within the student code, that Brittany has suggested some functional realignment of the charges. And I think they're good, very good suggestions that make the code more readable for students. I don't know if she wants to speak to that or if you have any additional questions about what that reorganization looks like.
Yeah. Just to highlight a little bit more, it's primarily just in the section 3, the prohibited behavior. As it is right now, we kind of lumped all of the 2020 rule, like what it is right now, under number 16 and 17, and we have kind of a little note about that's how it falls under that second category, Title IX based offenses, and they're lumped together. With the way I reorganized it, and I believe we're going to send you guys a copy of it, and I can share screen if you want. So for lack of a better word, we had 16 and 17 in the middle of a whole bunch of other prohibited non-Title IX behavior. I took the failure to comply, so 19 and everything, and moved it up, and then kept them at the end and broke them into almost like 2 different categories. Can I share? Let me share screen. It sounds more than it really is.
Can you share your screen or share?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Are you able to see this? Can everyone see it? Okay.
Yes.
So section 3, prohibited behavior. Right now, all of this is the same all the way until we get to right here is where it used to have the Title IX, kind of like the 2020 final rule notification, and then 16 and 17 were Title IX based. And then we proceeded with, then we picked up with, it was 18 was failure to comply, or no, 18 was conduct, and then 19, 20. So what I did was I just moved them up, so it kept all the non-Title IX prohibited behavior together, and then we have 2 notes. So here would be prohibited behavior 23 through 28 pertains to events that happened on August 1st and after August 1st, because those are the ones that fall under the new regs if and when they are put in. And this would only go into effect if we have to implement the new regs whenever they tell us. And all it really does is take what used to be 16 and 17, which still exists, and I'll show you that, and make them more clear. So you would be charged with number 23, category 2, sexual harassment, quid pro quo, or sexual harassment, hostile work environment. It just takes it just makes it more clear. So it's not like you were found by this category of a bunch of different things you could have done. It now is very specific. So 23, 24 is sexual assault, 25 would be dating violence, 26 is domestic violence, 27 is stalking, and 28 would be part of the other category that Kathy talked about that we don't have. It's the non-sex based, or the sex-based discrimination, but the complaints of it. There's a lot. And that specific grievance policy, that second policy, we don't have yet. So this just puts it in there as a behavior that falls under that, so it is included in the code should we have to go with implementing it.
Okay.
If the event happened prior to August 1, 2024, this language right here is what currently stands. And then we had the 2 different ones. So we had category, this used to be 16. It was all of these potential things could be a violation of what used to be 16.
Prior to August 1st.
Prior to August 1st. And then all of these were what used to be 17. So I didn't change the content of them. I just changed where they fell because they were kind of sandwiched in the middle between other non-Title IX behaviors, and then it went into like abuse of the conduct process, and then federal, state, and like fire safety stuff. And we did it in a way that if we have to pull it out because it's not happening ever, we can pull it out. If we do have to implement it, we have to have both prior to August 1st, 2024, and on and after. So we have to provide all of it. So now the code is 56 pages. Because we have to provide what we had before and what has been, and then what could be if they tell us we have to implement.
Okay.
So other than
And
reorganizing.
if we implement, will we still keep the prior to August 1st, 2024 in there?
Yes.
Because if any incident occurred before then, it would follow that procedure? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank
so
you.
that was the main change with the actual like logistics of the code. And then nothing else changed until we get to the actual, sorry, not to fly through this for you, but just so you can see how it's organized. And we did it in a way that, like I said, if we got to pull it out. So part B, incidents that occur prior to August 1, 2024. So everything is the same.
Okay.
And then once you get to the end of that, before you hit to sanctions, it talks about their entire process. And then here, for incidents that occur on or after August 1st. So it's our whole new grievance policy. And then when it comes,
or maybe Kathy can explain again. It's been put on hold because there's been a lawsuit. Is that it?
Yes. So there was an injunction in the state of Kansas.
Okay.
That there's 7 SUNY schools identified in New York that have a member of that lawsuit. Therefore, so the majority of the SUNY schools will be moving over on 8/1, but there's 7 of us, unless New York as a whole becomes part of the injunction.
Okay.
Which is possible.
one other thing I wanted to point out that is not a substance change, but more of a logistical, just to show how it's broken up. None of the sanctions have changed. The sanctions themselves have not changed. But to be compliant with Clery, we have to give the sanctioning kind of metrics for both prior to and on and after. So in keeping in the way it was, so if it was prior to, here's what we already have. And then following August 1, it's the same. It's just that what they're titling the behavior is more specific. So it's the same sanctioning re-offered. The only new addition is that new other category, because we have to have it ready, would be complaints of sexual discrimination. So that's that other category. That's the one that we don't have the exact SUNY General Counsel marked up. Here's what you need to have in there. So once we get that, we'll have to add that in here as well, because it would be technically a third, because we have the general, the first Title IX, and then the second Title IX grievance policy. But to be compliant with Clery, we have to have this in there too. So there's a lot of redundancy, but it is broken down in a way that it kind of compartmentalizes, okay, when did it happen? Almost like that choose your own adventure. Okay, did it happen before or after? Okay, then we're following this process. Sanctioning, did it have to happen before or after? Then we're following this process. So.
Okay.
Those were our additions.
Again, I'll ask for any comments or questions or concerns from any of the College Council members. Hearing none, can I have a motion by someone to accept it?
Motion to accept.
Mitch, Ford, second.
I'll second.
Any further comments or concerns? Thank you. All in favor of supporting the Title IX changes to our I'm losing it.
Code of conduct.
Code of conduct. Thank you. Thank you to our code of conduct at SUNY Poly. Please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, it has been accepted. Thank you, Jen, Kathy, Brittany.
Thank you.
Appreciate your presentation. Very well
Thank
done.
you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
the support so much and the time with you. Just so you know, this now that you've kind of looked it over, we have to send this back to SUNY Legal, and they will tell us if we went awry anywhere, if anything is still not compliant with what they expect. And if they were to tell us there were any substantive changes, we will make sure that you know that there's something they made us change.
Okay.
But this has been really well vetted by legal, and Cabinet gave the three of us a much tougher 1.5 hour run through this morning. I think I'm very, very confident that Brittany and Kathy have led us in exactly the right direction.
Right. Okay. Sounded pretty straightforward to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Thank you very much. What I would like to go through, and I don't think it'll take much longer to go through this, but I would like to confirm college council members' membership status and service terms. And it appears as I think Dan will share his screen, it appears that we may not have the most accurate, or we may have the accuracy of everybody's appointments, but could everybody please look at this and let us know if in fact that is the term of service, the current status of your term of service, that you believe it is, and if it's different, please indicate it to me by sending me an email. I would like, except for Darlene Burns, who I will tell you has expressed to me that she is going to resign her position and would like to be replaced with someone who is active in the health sciences profession. And we do have someone that we're recommending, and Mitch is recommending someone for a vacancy that we have. But we would love to have everyone who has a term of service that may be coming up or has arrived. We'd like you to stay and be active, but I need to know that. I'm not asking you to say it on here. I would like for you to send me an email, if you could, of your desire to stay, to not stay. And I want to work with the campus as well as the governor's office to see, and the chancellor's office to see if we can get, our reappointments so that we don't look like we do right now. So we don't need anything to be done right now. I don't need you to answer me right now. I would prefer if you would send me an email and let me know your preference, please. And also let me know if you are aware that you may have been appointed and the date we have is wrong. Okay. Thank you. Any questions from anyone?
Roanne, is that the appointment date, or is that saying when the appointment ends?
That's the date we have that it ends, term of service ends.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So we need to, as you can see from this, we need to, get everybody reappointed. And I'd like to do that, but I need to know everyone's desires. Okay?
Roanne, do we still have one more vacant slot? That was
Yes, we have
Charles
Sonny's
Greco's.
slot. Yes, what?
Sonny Greco's.
Yes, Sonny Greco, Charlie Greco.
Okay, this
yes.
is not showing that. Okay, thank you.
No, no, no. And Darlene is there as 6/30/2019, but she does not want to be reappointed. And as I stated, yes, we do have one more vacancy. Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dan. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about are meeting dates. So do you want to share that? Okay. So this is the proposed Tuesdays seemed to be a good day. I'm open to listening to anybody if Tuesday does not work for people. For the most part, we have alternated virtual meetings via Zoom, although maybe we won't use Zoom. But anyway, virtual meetings and in-person meetings. And I would like to also do the joint holiday reception again with our foundation, with Andrea's group, the foundation board, and we would like to kind of join the foundation board for a holiday reception. So we'd like to know if these dates, they're all third Tuesdays in the month. We're alternating the format. So any comments or concerns? I'd be glad to listen to them. Hearing none, I would like to adopt this today, if we could. So I'm actually going to ask for a motion. Can I have a motion, please?
I'll make the motion, Roanne.
Thank you, Bill. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries, and these will be the dates for our 2024-2025 council meeting. They will no longer be proposed. Those will be our meeting dates. Thank you. Okay, next. Andrea and Wayne are going to discuss the update on our presidential inauguration. So who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first, Roanne. I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm hoping everyone can see that. I have it
Yeah.
here. Can you all see my screen, or are you seeing black?
No, I'm seeing your screen.
See it.
Oh, great. Because I'm not seeing it on mine, so this is great. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Well, thank you. Again, our appreciation. Andrea Legata and I are pleased to present and provide the council an update on where we stand with the inauguration planning. I will share with the council that the president appointed Andrea and I as co-chairs this spring shortly after we established the date, the September 13th date. So there's been quite a bit of work going on. In addition to Andrea and I appointing members of a planning team, and we've listed the names here, some tremendously talented, hardworking people from events to catering to communications, library, facilities, administrative support. This is a fantastic team that has worked with Andrea and me to really work through the details that I'll talk a little bit about later, but we just wanted you all to see some of the people that have stepped up to support us.
You want to put the second slide up?
Can you advance the slides? Yeah.
Are you not seeing that?
No, we're
we
only
are still on the home slide.
Let me stop sharing and see if I. I love this whole. Let's see if we could try it again, see if it works.
Yes.
Okay, you all can see the full screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so thanks for letting me know. You'll see the names of the individuals I just mentioned.
Yes.
From all areas of the campus. And again, these have been tremendous resources and a tremendous help to Andrea and I as we plan several of the details that I will review with you. So hopefully you can see the next slide here in full screen.
Thank you. Did everyone receive this inauguration invitation? At their
Yes,
home?
I did.
That's a yes.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, and again, this is the event invitation. The council should have all received 2 invitations. Andrea's going to talk a little bit about the dinner following this, but certainly the ceremony is an event in and of itself. President knows that. We've been working very closely with him. I will also share that we reached out to Zuleika at SUNY, who's been a tremendous resource to many of us in several areas, but Zuleika was extremely helpful in recommending that we reach out to the folks at New Paltz, SUNY New Paltz, who just had an inauguration last year. They're still talking about it, and they said that New Paltz would be a fantastic resource to us, and they have been. They've been very helpful. So just to give you a sense for what's taken place so far, the invitations that Roanne just confirmed that you all received, they were designed, printed, mailed, and emailed out to various individuals. I've listed several groups here. It's not inclusive, but it's got a good majority of who we reached out to and invited to the ceremony: the council, foundation board, alumni association, the chancellor, who has already agreed and is on his calendar to be a part of the inauguration on the 13th, the trustees, all SUNY presidents across the 64 campuses, local college presidents, elected officials, external partners, alumni, faculty, staff, students, parents, and certainly Wally's family, friends, mentors, former colleagues, and students have all been invited. So at this point, we're watching the RSVPs come in. We're up to 120 already RSVP'd for the ceremony. I'll let Andrea talk a little bit about the dinner, but at this stage, we're tending to event details, logistics, platform party, identifying speakers that will take part in this, and certainly the College Council and Chair DeStito will be in touch with you to discuss your role and any other members of the council who are able to participate. So music, staging, the procession, our other university delegates, catering, as you can imagine, it's an important event. So we're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Just a final few pieces of information I just want to share with the council. The ceremony starts at 11 a.m. on September 13th. It's planned for 2 hours. We'll have a community lunch that follows from 1 to 2:30 in a tent that'll be up in our S lot, which is up from the Wildcat Fieldhouse. And then, as we talked about, the inaugural dinner will be from 6 to 8:30 in the library. So if there aren't any questions on the ceremony itself, I'll move to the next slide, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Andrea.
And I would like to encourage everyone to RSVP, and there should be a place where you can say that you're a College Council member.
That is correct. Okay, I'm going to go to the next slide and turn it over to Andrea.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. As Wayne just got wrapped up with, we are hosting a VIP invitation-only dinner that same day, that Friday. It will be held in the KN Library, so we're very excited about that location. It's going to be a beautiful backdrop for this event, and our very own Wildcat Hospitality will be catering this event as well as the other events that take place throughout Friday. Again, invitations were sent to many of those groups that Wayne just recognized: College Council, Foundation Board, Alumni Committee, major donors, Wally's family, friends, former colleagues, students. This really is a more intimate event. It's really designed to be those who are most closest to Wally and the campus, and we really want to make this a wonderful celebration and a wrap-up of the day's events. So we really do hope that you'll plan to join us and certainly bring a guest with you. I'm happy to say that the SUNY Poly Foundation will be wrapping up the evening with fireworks over the campus starting at 8:30. So
wonderful.
Once the dinner is done, we'll all head outside to watch a beautiful fireworks display. And to date, we have about 30 people who have already registered for the VIP dinner. And we know that that number will continue to grow. So if you haven't already, please do RSVP. Friday is actually the start of our homecoming weekend, so that we hope that you'll plan to join the events not just on Friday, but as your schedule permits, we'll have events taking place on Friday, as well as a golf tournament on Saturday. And there's more information that will come out about that as well. Wayne, do you want to
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
Any questions? Okay.
So the last thing I just wanted to quickly mention was commemorate this historic milestone for SUNY Poly and to celebrate our 7th president. The SUNY Poly Foundation has established a presidential impact fund, really dedicated to providing essential resources and for advancing our new initiatives that support our students and their success. We do hope that you'll join us in supporting this fund and really empowering the next generation of leaders and innovators, which are our current and future students. So we do hope that you'll choose to support that fund. You can certainly go right to our SUNY Poly Foundation website if you choose to make a contribution.
Thank you.
Yep. And just as a quick wrap up, just again, want to thank each and every one of you who will make the time and join us. We really want this to be a community event, and certainly our College Council members are integral in making this a success. So certainly go on to, you can register by emailing inauguration@sunypoly.edu, or feel free to reach out to Wayne or I, and we're happy to register you directly. So any questions for either Wayne or myself?
Andrea, I'm sorry. Can I register through that email, inauguration? SUNY? Okay.
Yes, you can. Yep.
Thank you.
Of course. Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Okay. This is going to be a fun party, Wole.
I'm looking forward to it. And thanks to Andrea and Wayne and the whole team for organizing this.
Yes, thank you. Well, we're excited that we have our 7th president in place, and it is a celebration for sure. Absolutely. So thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Wayne, Dan, everyone that has participated in this organization of the inauguration. So with that, I don't have anything else. Does anyone have anything that they would like to bring up? I said it would be about an hour. We had a little bit of a interference, but that's okay. I'm sure Steve will find out what happened. Okay, so please email me your preference of, being on or staying on, whatever your desires are. And I look forward to, most likely it will be at the inauguration. I hope to see everyone. Thank you very much.